We finally get into declaring our arrays, and well, frankly, starting off with an array name is important. You need to let us know what the array is really doing. Giving a meaningful name. X that I had on page 1 ain't going to cut it because I have no idea what X means. So notice the variable names for the array are descriptive, just like your normal variables should be. There really isn't any change to that. The size of the array has to be greater than 0, and it's okay to have extra is fine unless you get too crazy with it, but you have to have some type of guess of what size it's going to be. Can we resize it later and do things? The answer is yes, but that's where we get into dynamic arrays in the next couple of weeks to kind of forebode that. So I kind of skipped that out in this portion of the notes here. The arrays will have a value in each element automatically. And you're like, what? Here's what happens. We're reusing that particular memory that was used for something else in your OS. Maybe the game that you shouldn't have been playing, maybe the different places you've gone to on the web, websites. That memory location has been recently used and has garbage in it. So, and I'm going to prove this here in a moment. So if you were to display the array as soon as you created it like you did here in the second line, there's actually going to be gunk in all three of the elements that are in there. So that's something that we have to keep in consideration. So just a heads up on that. But there are two ways of creating an array, but we're using stack for right now. Heap is the other way, and that's in dynamic memory, which again, totally different topic. Stack uses a system stack, which is limited, but it is very fast, but it's good for small amounts of data. So if we get larger, like we do in data structure, something like that, you definitely don't want to use this, that's for sure. So your overall structure of creating an array is very simple. You have your type, which is your int, floats, doubles, whatever. The array name, which we've covered, should be at least something descriptive. And then in square braces is going to be your size. And again, I'd rather you create something that's a little too large than too small, because that'll end up being a problem. And size, by the way, is a variable that we will define ahead of time. You're going to see that very consistent in my notes where I define what the size is going to be, and then we use that to go ahead and for loops here in a little bit, so bear with me, and defining the size of the array at the same time, so it really helps us out. So you'll see a lot of that here in a moment. Overall issues with naming of arrays, there really isn't any except for this. Notice that both of these have the same name. One is a regular variable, that int soda price is 23, and the other one's the array name. That won't work out. Think of an array as a variable. I can't have two variables named the same one because then we don't know which one's which. So there's nothing wrong syntactically to what I'm showing you here on the left-hand side, but again, arrays are just like variables. Can't name them the same. It will mean to me some type of variable name adjustment between one of these two in order to get it to work. That's our start. Here's 4 more examples of exactly what needs to happen here. In doubles, integers, or strings, we can create strings of these as well. Notice the overall same setup. The data type comes first, naming the array, and then how many do you want. Now, I drew this here, the 0, 1, and 2, because frankly, I wanted to make sure you understood that the overall setup, it's going to start at index 2, but there are 3 individual elements in there. So 3 isn't lying, but we are starting off at index 0. We have int set points of 13. So all these different things here that we've got, I just wanted to show you how it's done in different data types more than anything else. And then finally, the is set alpha. Draw what the set alpha would look like. I'm going to do it here. Normally I do some exercises, but anyway. In this one, number 1 is a bunch of characters. You saw that from the front. What index is it going to start off at? It'll start off at index 0, always, always. What index will it end at is 25. So just a heads up on how that's going to be set up for your overall creation of your new arrays.